I haven't seen a raise in my income since Proud Mary. And almost had to walk away from Color Purple. Yes, ma'am. Who said what? Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Because you know what? If I don't take a stand, how am I making it easy for Fantasia and Danielle and Hallie and Felicia? Then why am I doing this? If it's all just for me, why are you here? We are to service each other. God is very clever. He put us on this earth and he made us all look different. He made it complicated. We need to figure it out. And we can, and we are. You have to look at the glass as half full.
Have you ever watched someone speak out against a powerful figure, gain massive public support, and then suddenly appeared to make peace with the very person they were criticizing? Well, that's exactly why the internet is in complete meltdown right now. What started as a conversation about Hollywood pay inequality has turned into one of the most controversial celebrity debates of the year. And at the center of it all are three women whose names carry enormous weight in the entertainment industry: Taraji P. Henson, Oprah Winfrey, and Monique.
And I heard on the street, Taraji, you had the audacity to say you're thinking about stopping acting. We said, stop talking. Are you thinking about it?
I'm just tired of working so hard, being gracious at what I do, getting paid a fraction of the cost. I'm tired of hearing my sisters say the same thing over and over. You get tired. I hear people go, you work a lot. I'll have to. The math ain't mathing. I'm tired of hearing that my entire career, 20 plus years in the game, and I hear the same thing, and I see what you do for another production, and when it's time for us to go to bed, you don't have any money. They play in your face. And I'm just supposed to smile and grin and bear it and just keep, enough is enough.
What has people talking isn't just what Taraji said about being underpaid, it's what happened afterward. Because just when many believed she was finally standing up against a system that had treated Black actresses unfairly for years, she appeared to completely change her stance. And according to Monique, that's where the real problem begins. Now fans are divided, accusations are flying, and everyone is asking the same question. Did Taraji betray the very message she was fighting for? Or is there much more happening behind the scenes than we know? Let's break down everything that happened. For months, Taraji P. Henson became one of the biggest voices discussing pay disparities in Hollywood. During interviews promoting The Color Purple, she made headlines when she openly discussed how frustrating her career journey had been financially. Despite being one of the most recognizable actresses in the industry, Taraji revealed that she had not seen the type of salary growth many people would expect from someone with her level of success. Her comments immediately struck a nerve with audiences because they highlighted a conversation that has existed in Hollywood for decades. Many fans were shocked to hear that an actress with such a long list of accomplishments was still fighting battles over compensation. The frustration in her voice felt real, and people connected with it instantly. Social media erupted with support as viewers praised her for speaking honestly about issues many performers face but rarely discuss publicly.
I want to address it for the order that it went in. And when Mr. Daniels said I had these demands, it shocked me because I was saying to the screen, Don, please ask him what the demands were. And actually, there were no demands. There was a request from the movie studio, and they called and requested that I fly to France for the Cannes Film Festival. I simply said I respectfully declined, because if you can remember at the time, there was a talk show called The Monique Show. I was doing a comedy tour. I was actually in the award season of the awards, and I'm also a wife, and I'm a mommy. So when they called, I had a couple days just downtime. I wanted to spend that with my husband and my kids. So when we said we respectfully declined, the movie studio called back again. And they said, okay, well, we'll upgrade her hotel room. And my husband simply said, again, we respectfully decline. She's gonna take this time with her family.
Yeah.
Well, when the third call came and they said, what is it gonna take to get Monique to France, to the Cannes Film Festival? And my husband said, is there a number associated with it? And they said, oh, we would never pay for anyone to do any promotions for a movie. And we said we understood, because what people didn't know was I was paid $50,000 to do the movie Precious. And it really wasn't about the money, and I'm not complaining because I signed up to do it with my friend.
Yeah. But
So
you're,
when the movie-
you're saying that because you didn't have the money to do this on your own. Is that what you're saying? That you needed to
Well-
feed your family and pay your bills?
I think that's what America says.
Yeah.
I think we all say, I can't do it for free.
Right.
So when the movie studio says we can't set a precedent and pay you to do this, we didn't have an issue with them.
Okay.
But that's when the reports came that now Monique is being demanding and she's being difficult. They had a request. We simply had a request, and they said they couldn't do it, and we said we understood.
What made the situation even more explosive was the fact that the color purple had Oprah Winfrey attached to the project. As Taraji's comments spread across social media, many people naturally started connecting the dots. Questions began appearing everywhere. If the film had such powerful names behind it, why was compensation becoming an issue in the first place? Why did Taraji feel forced to fight so hard? And most importantly, who should be held accountable? While the details behind Hollywood contracts are often far more complicated than they appear, the public quickly formed its own conclusions. Before long, Oprah's name became tied directly to the controversy, and the narrative began taking on a life of its own. Then came the interviews that pushed the story to an entirely different level. Taraji didn't just discuss salary concerns once and move on. She continued talking about the emotional toll of constantly having to fight for fair treatment. She spoke about being tired. She spoke about feeling frustrated. She spoke about hearing the same conversations over and over again throughout her career. Those comments resonated deeply with many viewers because they felt authentic and vulnerable.
So Tyler Perry says to me, listen, you may really want to consider promoting this film, because if you get nominated for an Oscar award, your next film is $3 to $5 million. And if you win it, your next film is $6 to $8 million. I said, Tyler, who you talking to? I'm a black woman. Where do they pay those type of salaries, brother? I said, what I cannot do, Tyler, is work for free. I've done what I was supposed to do. I cannot go overseas and do this for free, Tyler. So then he goes on about his spiel, you know. I said, well, listen, you can write me the check for me to go overseas. I don't care where the money comes from, but I'm not going to do it for free. He says, well, I don't believe in giving money away for free. I said, I don't believe in working for free, so we're on the same page.
For a moment, it seemed like Taraji was leading a larger conversation about respect, value, and fairness within the entertainment industry. The public rallied behind her, and many believed she was doing something incredibly brave by speaking so openly.
Because you're taking the high road on so many different levels, and people say negative things about you. Trump, Monique is in the media right now. Why do you continue to take the high road? Why don't you address it face?
Oh my gosh, because it's impossible. It's a law that if you meet negative with negative, you will just have a combusted negative force and negative energy. You can't meet negative energy where it is. You have to rise above it. You have to transcend it. You have to be the light. And it only takes a little bit of light to banish the darkness. It takes a lot of darkness to overcome the light, but it takes just a little bit of light, and we are warriors of the light. So I would never stoop to try to meet somebody where they are negative.
But while all of this was happening, another person was watching very closely, Monique. And if you followed Hollywood controversies over the past decade, then you already know why this story immediately caught her attention. For years, Monique has publicly claimed that she suffered professional consequences after standing up for herself and refusing to accept treatment she believed was unfair. Her battle with powerful industry figures has become one of the most talked about disputes in entertainment history. Whether people agree with her or not, one thing has always been clear: Monique has never backed away from her position. She has spent years telling her side of the story and insisting that speaking up came at a major personal and professional cost. That's exactly why many people believe Monique felt a connection to Taraji's situation. From her perspective, she was watching another successful Black actress publicly discuss many of the same issues she herself had been talking about for years. To Monique, it might have looked like history was repeating itself. For the first time in a long while, someone with a major platform seemed willing to challenge the status quo. And perhaps that's why what happened next upset her so much. Just when people thought the divide between Taraji and Oprah was becoming impossible to ignore, Taraji suddenly shared messages expressing gratitude and appreciation for Oprah. Instead of criticism, there was praise. Instead of frustration, there was admiration. She described Oprah as supportive and spoke positively about her role throughout the production process. Almost instantly, social media exploded. People who had spent weeks supporting Taraji's criticism were now confused. Had something changed behind closed doors? Had a private conversation taken place that resolved the issues? Or was this simply a strategic attempt to calm the growing controversy?